when we had the launching of the IPED branch at Parika.
That's true.
And ever since, IPED has grown leaps and bounds on the Parika branch. Now, let us talk about, people are watching this program, and I'm pretty sure we have viewers who are living on the west coast of Demerara, going right up the east bank of Essequibo. Let us talk a bit about the area within which the Parika branch is responsible for, within which you operate. Some of the areas you taught, some of the islands in the river, Essequibo River, we do visit at the Parika branch.
Yes, Mr. Singh, it's very important for the public out there to know our location, because not only where we operate, but at least for them to know that the location, in a sense that one of our objectives is to provide timely credit, and once they know where our locations are, our boundaries are basically, it will be easy for us and them to get their finance on time.
Right, because, I just want to stick a pin. Very often, I do encounter persons living on the west coast of Demerara. Because of the lack of knowledge, they do come down to the Georgetown branch, and we have to refer them to Parika.
That's right.
So it's very time consuming.
There. Actually, our branch covers from Freedom Hoop, which is on the west coast of Demerara, and it extends to Parika, Lakabu, Aliki, and on the Essequibo River. Also, we cover islands, Essequibo Islands, such as Leg 1, Hog Island, Truly Island, and we also provide credits in Bartica, which is in Region 7. Right,
let us stick a pin there. Now, you mentioned Leg 1 Island. Viewers there on the island of Leg 1, we want to say hello to you, especially those entrepreneurs. When do we visit Leg 1?
It's on the second Tuesday of every month. We go on Leg 1.
Good, can you repeat that?
It's on the second Tuesday of every month. Our officers always be there to serve as that area.
In Leg 1?
In Leg 1.
What about Bartica?
Bartica, we have a schedule there as well. It is the last Tuesday in every month, and we have a location where we normally be, and that's at the regional office boardroom.
Right, that's the Bartica NDC office.
Within like from 10 to 1, and then the officer will leave to go out in the area to do visit projects and so forth.
Good. So Leg 1, Bartica, the entire west coast, right up to Parika. You mentioned Aliki.
Aliki.
Many persons maybe have no idea where Aliki is.
It's in the Essequibo River, going down to Bartica. It's on the east bank of Essequibo, but it's accessed via
the river.
Right.
Okay. And how long does it take for you to go up there?
It takes approximately 3/4 of an hour.
Okay.
With the regular speedboat.
Okay, I find that very, very interesting. What about Hog Island and Truly Island?
They're also within that proximity. Truly Island is not too far away from Wakenham.
Okay.
And Hog Island is actually between Leg 1 and Wakenham.
Birbal, this area, Parika and all these islands, I'm pretty sure most of the activities there are farming.
Yes, generally most of those in those areas the activities are farming. Some people are doing trading in terms of like fuel and other grocery items and so forth. But generally it's farming and cattle.
Cattle. What about Leg 1?
Leg 1, well, it's a mixture.
It's a mixture.
Rice, cattle, vegetable crops, general vending business. So
okay. Talking about Leg 1, I remember my days when I was an officer going to Leg 1, going across with the ferry there. The ferry still works.
Yes, it still works.
You go in the morning and you come back at 2 p.m. I think it leaves.
But there's a lot of flexible in terms of the timing, and it all has to do with the tide. I think it's only when the tide is high, then you have the ferry.
And in those days, most of the loans were for rice cultivation and a few cattle.
Right.
Cattle.
But now it's really moving away from the rice because of accessibility for water. Because due to the salt water that is affecting them, they're only having, most places on Leg 1 is only having 1 crop a year.
Okay. What about Parika Back Dam, Ruby Back Dam, Hubu Back Dam?
Oh, well, those areas are predominantly for cash crops, even for planting, bananas, and there's still some other regular business as groceries and so forth.
Okay, I'm chatting here with Mr. Dan Paul Birbal, who is our officer in charge of the Parika branch, and we're talking about what IPED has for you, small and micro entrepreneurs on the west coast of Demerara, East Bank, Essequibo, and some of the islands in the Essequibo River. You know, apart from loans, we provide loans, and you mentioned, very important, that we have field officers visiting our clients, providing some additional support. Let us talk a bit about that additional support.
Well, each officers, they're well trained in the sense that with respect to all level of business, and we are not just only providing loans as you mentioned, and we are there to, as I mentioned earlier, we are there to provide enterprise development, and by doing that, we are there. We, the officers, are out there working along with the customer, ensure that the business is going, give advice wherever necessary, and at the same point of time, we are learning as well as the customer are learning there.
Right. So, you know, if you're a poultry farmer, for example, and you have a flock of birds, maybe 100 meat birds, and you're encountering some problems, you can count on the IPED officer, right, Biral?
That's exactly.
To provide some kind of assistance.
Exactly.
Now, let us talk a bit about, you know, our office days, because it's quite different from how we operate in the other districts, you know, of Guyana.
That's true, Mr. Indar. IPED office opens from Monday to Friday, with the exception of Wednesday, and we will also open on Sundays. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, we open from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m.
Right, that's because of the busy market day.
Days, right.
Right, so you know the Perica branch is so different, and maybe you would just want to repeat for the benefit of our clients on the island of Leguan, Bartica, you know, when your next scheduled visit will be.
Well, as I said earlier, for Leguan, our regular schedule is on the second Tuesday of every month, and with respect to Bartica, it's on the last Tuesday of every month, and our location in Bartica is the regional board room.
Right, and you know, clients of IPED, those of you who already have loans, we just want to remind you how important it is for you to pay your loan installments on time. That's a very important issue, Birbal.
It is very important because it means that there are so many things it's so important about. Looking with respect to the customer itself, if he or she does not repay her loan in time, it means that it's going to affect it on so many ways. They have to pay late fees. They will not be able to get another credit on time to develop their business, or even a larger loan on the next time. And on the other hand, if people don't pay, it means that others will not be able to benefit. From loan from IPED.
Quite true. That would limit our cash flow.
That's exactly.
And you know, we've made it very, very simple for clients, not on the in Region 3 alone, you know, but across the length and breadth of Guyana, for them to pay their installments, you know.
Yes, it's so conveniently because of our office time, we do not want to inconvenience customer. They're very busy, you know, be doing their business at home or wherever they are, and we have set our system in such a way that they can make payments at Post Office,
Right.
Bill Express, Western Union, and it means that every day you can pay your installment, whether it fall on a Saturday, during any day during the week, you know, they can pay that, they can pay the installment.
Right, and you know, ensure that when you go to the post office or you make those payments at any Bill Express office, ensure that you do obtain a valid IPED receipt, because that is very, very important. And once again, you know, Birbal, let us talk before we go. We just have a minute or two left on the program, on this discussion, I mean. What are some of the major activities you find, or, you know, people get involved in on the coast there?
Well, the coast is much more unique than the riverine areas. There are so many activities. For example, you have some large jewelry establishment, trading, which involve in both clothing and food items. We have manufacturing, we have furniture business. Those are a lot of those businesses we finance on the west coast of Demerara.
Okay. You know, there's so much we can talk about on this program, but time has really caught up with us, Birbal. In closing, any other thing you want to talk about, or words of encouragement to persons who, you know, may be wondering, you know, to come into IPED?
Well, it's very important to know that not only the credit that we are providing, but our main focus also is customer service, and that's one of the key area that we are really focusing. And customer can come into us at any time and feel the warmth of our, you know, our service that we provide. And it's always if you're serious about business, it's all about get going, keep going with IPED.
Right, so if you're serious about business and you're on the west coast of the Demerara, East Bank, Essequibo, and the Essequibo Islands, why not come into IPED's office at Lot 312, Parika, East Bank, Essequibo. We'll be right back.
Inside businesses. So if you need financial or professional help in developing your business to its fullest potential, IPED is for you. IPED's friendly staff works with you to help keep your business growing. In addition, IPED provides training, counseling, marketing, and technical assistance, giving you a better and surer chance of success. Get going and keep growing with IPED.
Yes, you know, time really do slip by very quickly on these programs. And indeed so, not Carlotta?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed, because, you know, we have so much information to talk about and to share with you, the small and micro entrepreneurs of this beautiful country of ours. And I think you want to, in parting, you want to say something about the EDC.
Yeah, I wanted to remind you of the training dates. There's a program on Thursday, the 18th of February, creating and maintaining customer service. Remember, Birbal even alluded to the importance of customer service, even in the business that we do at IPED. So if you, we're inviting you to send your staff to be trained. It's a one-day workshop on the 18th of February, creating and maintaining a good customer service culture. Then I have a particularly interesting programs for, I don't want to say senior citizens, but adults. It's targeted towards women who are interested in learning to use the computer, introduction to computers so that you get very familiar with your mouse, with the environment, and then how to type, very basic, doing letters and so on. And the internet, there's so many people who have their children studying in Cuba, so many women have their children abroad somewhere, and you want to communicate with them. You have a computer in the house. We're going to show you how to use the internet. We're going to show you how to browse, how to chat. Yes, you know, you hear your children say they're chatting, how to chat, how to send an email, and like some of these social networks, like how to get onto Facebook, how to set up a Facebook account, and so on. So women, it's targeted to women. It starts on the 8th of March, but you need to register now because a class can only be 10 people.
Right, you know, that sounds very interesting, Carlotta. You know, why are we not targeting the men? You know, men may be watching this program, you know.
Yeah, I know. We could target men too.
But I guess this is our first
actually, I was at the doctor's office and I met a lady who said, oh, I usually look at you on Go with IPED and I have something to say. And she said to me, you know, can't you offer a program for adults? Yeah. You know, senior citizens, we're home and so on. I thought about it and then I said, yes, it's true, because especially how so many young people are being afforded the opportunity to go away to study. True. And just letter writing and so on. The parents can learn. So, yes, we can help men also. So, March 8th, but you have to register now for it, okay? We're doing it in the morning also. One class starting around 9 to 11:30. We can do a class from 1 to 3:30. So we're working around times. When your children gone off to school, you come quickly, do your thing, and then go back home in time to take care of.
Well, I guess after the women would have learned, they would have shared their knowledge with their husband or their spouses, you know.
But listen, as Indar suggested, men, you can call us. We're going to set up a class for you too. All right, we've got to go though.
Quite true. So, but before we go, you know, Carlotta, you know, we always have to keep reminding our viewers out there about the services we provide, especially, you know, apart from the services of the Entrepreneurial Development Center. I just want to remind you that come down to IPED offices across Guyana, and we'll be very, very willing to listen to your ideas to get started in a business. Remember, we provide microloans, small loans, and medium-sized loans.
Great. Be careful. This is another very busy weekend, Valentine's weekend and so on. So please be careful on the roadways, and remember, we're pleading with you, don't drink and drive. Let's keep the roadways safe so that we can live and continue to be productive citizens. Birbal is still with us. On behalf of Birbal, Indar and I, we're wishing you a great weekend and reminding you to get going, keep growing with IPED.